Hey guys, I'm Nick, and welcome back to the next part of the Mr. Rogers recap series, where I review all the episodes, at least the ones that I've seen or heard the most about. So, yeah, and the camera looks a little blurry. I tried cleaning the lens, but it doesn't look like, I don't know, it's from that light up there. I don't know if I'm pointing at the right spot. Right there. There. Camera angles. So this is the second run of Mr. Rogers that lasted from 1979 to 2001. This one is more easier to find as this has been released several times on physical and digital and still airs in reruns a lot. Yeah, I hope to get this done. I hope to get this recapped uh, under this entire part. But yeah. So at the time of the hiatus, Mr. Rogers did a different show called Old Friends and New Friends, where he would talk with adults about more like adult feelings, like depression and stuff. Yeah, I recently watched like one episode. It was very interesting. It's kind of lost in media. Only like one episode has been found. I don't. I don't know why I do that. Uh, I don't know if it's ever been released physically. I feel like I might have seen that episode. But yeah. Yeah, so basically each episode, some episodes start with like Mr. Rogers walking past the Mr. Rogers neighborhood set, and he goes to like an office room. See, at this point, like he thought he taught children everything, but there were so many problems in the news. There's one big problem that was the reason why he came back with the show with many new weak ideas. This is not the first one that he developed, but that is going to be the next one. Yeah, this one's called Mr. Rogers takes you to or Mr. Rogers goes to school. I don't know why I said takes you to school. Yeah, it's an interesting theme. Yeah. I know like the original airings on like Sunday or Saturday, they would also show a special where Fred Rogers would talk to parents and kids about like the themes. And I think there's one clip of that shown during one of the days of this week. So yeah, this was I think the first full week that I've seen. I think I've seen this entire week, probably not in the same week, but they say there's a lot in August, of course, for the beginning of the school year. So yeah, each season starting with this point will also have only like 5 to 15 episodes, aka 1 to 3 weeks, so there wouldn't be so many episodes to air, which is very understandable. So yeah, so in the earlier episodes of the second run, like each episode starts very randomly. Instead of zooming out of the traffic light next to the fish tank and like panning over to the door where Mr. Rogers enters, we actually see him entering the front porch. And it's also seen at the end of some episodes as well, which I was very shocked to see that. I only remember happening at the beginning of these episodes, and I was like, why? Even this only happens some earlier weeks of the second run. So yeah, day one, Mr. Rogers shows the cars and trucks showing the muddled neighborhood during the intro, end credits, and transition sequences. Then he visits a school and a kindergarten class, which, by the way, I hope you enjoyed the video yesterday of the WQED station ID from my old account. I'm doing like some throwback re-uploads from my older channel to put them on here since I don't want to be associated with that channel. Don't worry, it's not Don't Bring Up My Past thing. But yeah, that's pretty fitting for this here. That I'm premiering that video today, but like this is probably going to premiere sometime tomorrow. The neighborhood of Make Believe Story arc involves the trolley being a school bus, and the humans build like a school that's like really small, but they can somehow fit in it for the children to go to someplace else Day 2 is walkie-talkies. Mr. Rogers visiting the first grade classroom. It's a really long classroom. It's almost as big as a gym. I don't know any classrooms that long. I've never been to this school. I know this is somewhere in Pittsburgh, but like I've never been there. So like yeah. And the teacher talks about how many hairs are on a head, which I had no idea. We also see a segment of children and their parents talking about school experiences, including one teacher talking about his friend wearing shorts to school, which was not really common. After all, this was the 70s. So yeah, even like when I was younger, I always wear like long sleeves and like long pants. Like wearing like short sleeves and shorts really made me feel uncomfortable. And even like now, wearing shorts make me uncomfortable with showing like too much of my body. Yeah, usually why you only see me from like the waist up in my videos. Usually, there's some videos where you can see me wearing shorts, but like, yeah, similar to like Fred Ficklehorn videos when he goes swimming, he never takes his shirt off. So yeah, Day 3 we learn about drums and drumming. I also see a typewriter inside Mr. McFeely's box that he's been keeping a secret throughout the entire week, and he's using it to like type, kind of like to learn play music. And then Day 4 has really funny cutouts, kind of like the ones you see in amusement parks. One of them looking like Rainbow Beard the pirate from Barney and Friends. Yeah, and the pictures also show up the on Prince Tuesday and Anna and Daniel's pencil boxes. Yeah, Day 5 has Mr. Rogers checking out a school bus. It looks just like the school buses we have now. Well, now, at least in this area, like some school buses are just like little like minivans, and they're like very uncomfortable to sit in, but like not as many children are on there. I don't want to sound like I hate children. I don't. But like I do want more like quiet time when I'm on my way to school. Yeah, some of these episodes were also the few times I've seen "It's Such a Good Feeling" without the weekend song part, where some episodes I don't remember having that. Similar to like Bear in the Big Blue House, when like sometimes he doesn't sing "What's in the Mail Today" when he gets mail, but like only like sometimes I remember that happening. I prefer when he sings the full song, the full "It's Such a Good Feeling" song. I remember the Idlewild ride had the shortened version of the song because it honestly seemed fair. I could do like a whole separate video on that, and I am going to at some point. Kitty, you scared me. So yeah, that's very interesting. I think there's another Mr. Rogers video I want to react to without uh, triggering like YouTube's copyright system or something. I forget what it was, but like I'll probably look it up. Mr. Rogers talks about superheroes, aka dinosaurs and superheroes, episodes 1466 and 1470. By the way, the Mr. Rogers Takes You to School week was 1461 to 1465. This is the first week that they developed because like people were like pretending to be superheroes, like and they're pretending to fly, but then they fall and hurt themselves. And there's one scene in Day 2 where Anna tries to fly, and thank the Lord, Lady Aberlin saves her. That was like absolute save. This week rarely airs on TV, and only some of them are on video and physical and digital because of uh, a licensed appearance of a certain TV show we'll get to in a second. Yeah, yeah, the falling and like hurting themselves, like yeah, that was also a thing in the Bear in the Big Blue House episode, but that was in the '90s though, when children were more well aware. The storyline in Make Believe is that Lady Elaine has a plan to have Purple Panda dress up as a dinosaur, who unfortunately is not purple. Yeah, of course, this used to air before Barney and Friends and Teletubbies, so that's a lot purple. So yeah, day one has Mr. Tro uh, making blocks and contraption to knock them down, kind of like dominoes knocking them down, which like I absolutely love doing that. Day two also has dinosaur bones. Kind of reminds me of that one Zaboomafoo episode about dinosaurs. And then day three and four show behind the scenes of the Incredible Hulk show, which, yeah, obviously because of licensing and stuff, they don't really air this as often. It's not available on digital or physical. Yeah, we see like day four, we see how Lou Ferrigno puts on his Incredible Hulk makeup. I thought that was interesting. So yeah, day three also has Mr. Rogers playing with a clay dinosaur in the model neighborhood. Another episode where we see behind the scenes. Except I don't think I remember seeing that. I don't know if I remember this week, but like yeah. And then day five has Mr. Rogers visiting a construction site and making tapioca pudding. Now I'm hungry. Highlights of this week, however, were released on VHS tape called Dinosaurs and Superheroes or Dinosaurs and Monsters or whatever. Mr. Rogers Makes an Opera, episode 1471 to 1475. A week I'm sure I probably seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen some this week on the PBS Kids website. I'm not sure if I saw on TV. Day one has an electric keyboard, which I similar to one I used to have. And then we have a visit from a storyteller who tells about a king that didn't like bubbles, which gives John Reardon an idea for a opera about bubbles. I don't know why I pronounced it like that. I don't know why I pronounced his last name like that. And day two has a bubble machine and knitting machines. Horrible memories of home ec class. But yeah, day three has masks and bananas. Now I'm very hungry. We also see flashbacks of the older operas from the original run. At this point, like when they aired this episode, the classic episodes were slowly phasing out reruns, and especially when I watched these, they were just almost completely gone, except for like occasional reruns. So this was always confusing. Day four also has a weather station, which just gives me a headache seeing like high things, like high ceilings. And then the opera on day five, Bubble Land, freaking bubbles. Yeah, insert clever nostalgia critic joke here. This is very different than the other episodes. Like, it doesn't start with the regular opening song. It doesn't have the regular ending song. Like, I think Mr. Rogers sings something like, "It's a beautiful day for an opera today," or something like that. And he doesn't go inside the house. He just imagines the opera on the swing on the front porch. Like, yeah, of course, the opera lasts almost the entire episode. And yeah, it was just very interesting. I guess because this is the first opera since the classic run, and they wanted to do something special for it. There's bubbles, there's pirates, there's a hummingbird. It's like watching SpongeBob, except I rarely watch SpongeBob on days off school when I would watch this. So yeah, it's really confusing. Divorce, this is the week everyone talks about. Episodes 1476 to 1480. The topic of this week has no title card. It's just the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood title card. So technically has no title. There's a lot about divorce and marriage in this week, but also electric vehicles. I'm like, why? Yeah, day one, we see Mr. McFeely's wedding video with David Newell's real life wife as the maid of honor. But he soon leaves when Mr. Rogers discusses divorce for some reason. I don't know if he went through a divorce at one point before Mrs. McFeely. Yeah. This episode also has two neighborhood make believe segments. One of them, I think, like Mr. Rogers uses like cups to represent a picnic that the king, queen, and prince are on, and they meet a girl whose parents are divorced, which makes Prince Tuesday worried about his parents, especially after they have a fight, which makes him run away to Daniel's clock. The scene where everyone's like worried about him really like got me, because like I have like similar feelings too when I lose like a toy or like one of my pets. Day 2 has a pretzel factory. I'm pretty sure I've seen this week, especially this day here, because of the pretzel factory. I thought it looked interesting how they made pretzels, even though I don't like pretzels. They're too salty and crunchy. Even like soft pretzels, they're okay. But yeah, day 3 is, I'm pretty sure, the one that would air all the time, and pretty sure they always showed this in like school and daycare as well, to talk about electric cars. And this is where the late Jeff Erlanger shows off his electric wheelchair. I'm pretty sure I seen this. Like, yeah. And like, yeah, this was, I think, one of the first episodes I've seen. One of the first episodes I've seen where we see the front porch also uh, when Mr. Rogers is talking to Jeff. And like, yeah, it's a very beautiful scene. They sing the "It's You I Like" song. They talk a lot about like electric vehicles being like the way of the future, which honestly is better than like AI taking over the world. But yeah, also when like Anna tells Prince Tuesday that she thought he had died, that felt so real. I don't think I saw day 4 though, but day 5 had an airport tour, which I watched before I went on my first airplane trip to Mississippi back in 2014, was it? I don't remember. And now we have competition episodes 1481 to 1485. I most likely saw days. I most likely saw days 1, 3, and 5 specifically, especially day 3. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, day 1 has a Crayon Factory video. I'm pretty sure I saw that video clip. There's also a brief moment where Mr. Rogers accidentally, like, instead of using this finger to like point to his head using your imagination. Yeah, this time was accidental, unlike when they did in the first week, which I think I forgot to talk about that. But like, yeah, I know the Crayon Factory, that was a very popular DVD bonus feature. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it on. Yeah, I thought it looked very oddly satisfying. So yeah, there's also an art contest in Make Believe, and Big Bird from Sesame Street visits in day 3, and then day 5 has Mr. Aber imagining a rainbow. You know what that means, I guess. But yeah, I also remember like the Sesame Street episode where Mr. Rogers visited, and I don't think it was on Noggin, like most people might remember. Like I don't even remember like Sesame Street ever airing on that channel. But yeah, yeah, day 3 I definitely saw because of that. Day 3 also had another flashback from an older episode with someone named Andy Wyeth visiting, and and like there's also a story by Chef Brockett about a cake contest that took place in the same exact spot of the Monroeville Mall, where I used to go to play in the Mr. Rogers play area. Like yeah, I don't remember this scene, but like I I remember going there. I just don't remember the scene at all, really. Like I'm honestly really surprised. I used to go there a lot. Now it's just a generic farm playground with like Thomas the Tank Engine, and behind it, Classic Bob the Builder, proving that Classic Bob is not dead. I remember that same area. Sometimes they would have like Elmo performing a song. I don't remember what the song was, but like I might look it up at some point. But yeah, they also had Mr. Rogers cups, which I have some of those actually. Maybe I should show them right now. Yeah, here they are. If you can see them. Yeah, that's classic. Mm. I love bottled water in a cup. Yeah, they sold these at the food court for a brief while, and I remember. I think I have a video of my preschool class visiting there and getting these cups. So yeah, the next week is Play, episodes 1486 to 1490. I'm most definitely sure I saw this week because the storyline, uh, Bob Dog falls and the king bans Play in the neighborhood. So Lady Elaine takes her museum go round to like an actual park that I think I might have been to actually. I think it was near my old summer preschool, or maybe that was a different park I was thinking of, and I was very intrigued by that. I'm definitely sure I saw this weekend a bit out of order. I think I saw like day 5 first. And day 1 has a dummy puppet, which I also vaguely remember. And there's also a wooden block fort that Mr. Rogers makes on day 2 that I thought was pretty cool. I used to have like a lot of chairs and tables in this room. I would make one of those myself with the blankets. I also remember Mr. Rogers visiting a cave on day 4. I remember caves used to freak me out. And I also remember he tried to put on stilts in day 5. Discipline, I don't know anything about this week. I don't think I ever saw it really. But I think like, so what I've seen is like Corny is stressed with all the stuff he has to make. So like I don't really know if there's really enough talk about discipline in this week. But yeah, I might remember Mr. Rogers playing the piano and having a combined snack on day 1. I don't remember what it was. I better look it up. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I'm stalling right now. Yeah, he has like a piece of cheese and a banana, like, and he eats them together. I just thought that was very odd, but I would try it, probably. So yeah. So yeah, sorry I kept you waiting like that. That probably would be more realistic. I'm pretty sure there might be like at least 1 or 2 episodes of Mr. Rogers that would have that happen. But yeah, I vaguely remember day 2 as well. Like, yeah, there was a talk about special about discipline that I feel talks more about that. Like, yeah, it was very interesting. Of course, it was the '80s, so discipline was like much different thing back then. Oh my god, this cup is good. I'm not, I'm not tasting the cup itself, just the water. It's very interesting. I think I remember like uh, day 3 where Mr. Rogers goes swimming. Either that or it might have been part of the documentary that came out back in 2018. I could do a separate video on that, but I'd rather talk about like merchandise and stuff once I like add them to my collection. But yeah, I might remember the ice skating lesson on day 4. It reminds me of when my day camp would go on a field trip to an ice skating rink and have us ice skate, even though I'm pretty sure some of us didn't know how to. I obviously didn't know how to. Yeah, I was just too scared. It was really cold. It was cold for summertime. I've been eating a lot today. Pets, episodes 1496 to 1500. I'm pretty sure I saw this entire week. I'm not sure. I know I saw some of them air when the show was airing only on Sundays, and episodes airing on Sundays would be like out of context. So it's Anna's birthday is coming up at the end of the week, and the king wants to throw her a big party, but she wants a quiet party. On day 5, Anna gets a pet cat, which seemingly is way too big for her since how small she is. But yeah, Bob Tro also leaves his dog Barney. Insert the obvious here to Mister Rogers for most of the week, and then like day 3 has a parrot mocking the king. If only they got Gilbert Gottfried to do the voice. But yeah, I also remember when Daniel talks to me on day 4 slightly, like he's staring right at the camera, talking to me. Episodes 1501 to 1505, Make Believe, aka Curiosity, or no, I think Curiosity is a different one. I read this wrong. Creativity. I'm losing my stuff with uh, saying the wrong words and like stumbling on words. I don't even think I saw it this week, really. I remember the spoons in day 1, probably. Day 3, once again, talks about the previous operas with the older footage. The queen gets injured when the king tries to recreate a tea party they had once. And then day 4, I remember had this like weird like popcorn sandwich. It kind of reminded me of this one like Wizards of Waverly Place episode when Max creates this unique sandwich. And he's trying to remember what he put on it, and like he said popcorn, and the dad was confused. Popcorn on a sandwich, that would be interesting. I can't eat it though because like the inside stuff that looks like bugs, it's sometimes hard to chew. That's why I never really liked popcorn when I was little. There's also a didgeridoo in that day. The opera on day 5 is about a spoon mountain. You really can't make this stuff up. Like yeah, it, like this would air before like Teletubbies, where like that was just full of chaoticness. But like honestly, like this just takes the cake at like how unusual you can come up with something. Episode 1506 to 1510, Friends. I'm pretty sure I saw this entire week. I'm not sure if I saw the same week. I'm pretty sure I saw day 5. Some of these I might have seen on the PBS Kids website or on DVD. The king and queen set up a party, but Lady Aberlin forgets Daniel. That just feels so real. And I loved this one part. Mr. Rogers visit a restaurant on day 3. It reminded me a lot of the restaurants I used to go to. And I'll always get like grilled cheese and like nothing else. I would get like really disgusting, like thick French fries. I like really thin French fries with almost like no potatoes. Like McDonald's. Mm. Like yeah, like I wouldn't even get dessert, even though restaurants usually had the best desserts. I think the only dessert I would usually get is like a Smiley cookie at Eden Park, and of course Eden Park was the local funding provider for Mister Rogers. I think some of you might remember the promo that they used to show at the beginning and end of some episodes on some PBS stations. Yeah. So yeah, this was also I think one of the first weeks I saw one of the first episodes I saw with the shortened version of "It's Such a Good Feeling," which I was weirded out by. So yeah, I also remember borrowing the Adventures in Friendship DVD from the library a lot, which had this episode. But I don't think I watched the other episode or bonus features, probably because the disc was damaged. Have you seen DVDs at public libraries? They are not treated very well. They just won't work. They keep skipping, they keep stopping when you watch them, and some DVDs they just won't have after a time. Like libraries I've seen used to have all the Bear in the Big Blue House videos. Now they don't. I guess someone's just way too big of a fan or way too big of a hater. But yeah, day 5 has a separate story where Lady Aberlin and Daniel are playing with can telephones and a rocking chair umbrella. How is this not a thing? Like, probably because your feet still get wet, but like, yeah. Games episodes 1511 to 1515. Mr. Struthers plans the make believe games, but Lady Elaine won't allow it unless she wins. So she causes a blizzard. I mean, it's probably better than the strong wind we had yesterday and some of today. It's sunny now, but like we don't know how long that's gonna last. But yeah, I've only seen days 1 and 5 on YouTube. Before they were taken down. I may have seen them on TV as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I remember Mr. Rogers playing peekaboo, and when it snowed, maybe. I watched this in fall, so it was just like a reminder that like winter was coming soon. So yeah. Yeah, honestly, I miss it. Hopefully now it will stop snowing and spring will come. That's why I wrote here on this script almost. Like, it's sunny now, obviously, and it stopped snowing recently. We did get unexpected snow recently, but like now it's stopped. But now we have like strong rain and strong wind, and yeah, I am ready to play. Honestly, like I do love playing in the spring and summertime. I might also remember the toy racetrack on day 2 and possibly day 4, which had a boy playing Donkey Kong, and Keith David was the coin collector, and also X is seen flying in that episode. I just imagine, hey, look at me, I can fly playing. I mostly remember there's one, most likely remember one scene where there was like a Candyland style board game based on the show Mr. Rogers showed. Yeah, that's. I used to love Candyland. It was a more simple board game. None of that sorry crap. Episodes 1516 to 1520. Day and Night Care. I most definitely saw this week, probably in the same week. I'm not sure if I saw every day. So Prince Tuesday is staying with a night and day caregiver uh, because he doesn't like the term babysitter. Yeah, there was this one. I remember specifically the episode where he has a dream about like a fish like floating away, and that was pretty scary stuff. Like whenever I have bad dreams, like yeah, day 2 has a cool toy that helps kids tie their shoes and other stuff. That was also seen in the kindergarten classroom in the Mr. Rogers Goes to School week. It was one of those like things that had like shoelaces and like buttons. I don't know if I ever played with any of those, but those look cool. And also day 3, a lot of scenes from that were used in the famous Jack in the Box coming up next bumper on PBS Kids. Ready for some make believe? Let's visit Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. It's just a trolley right away, so stay right there. They show a clip of Lady Elaine talking to Prince Tuesday, Mr. Rogers blowing up a latex balloon, and the trolley arriving by the castle. Also, by this point, they'll also start showing the trolley in the model neighborhood, which I don't remember it not appearing. I love day 5 where we see a graham cracker factory. I used to eat like graham crackers a lot during lunch in daycare, and I got like so bored of it, but I think they're fine now. Yeah, I like s'mores better. Similarly, in daycare, we do like a lot of the same stuff a lot. During circle time, we'd always listen to the Ants Go Marching from Barney's Favorites Volume 1, and I got tired of that, but I like the song now. Highlights from this week were also released on VHS called When Parents Are Away. The Conflict Week episode 1521 to 1525. This is a week that has been banned from YouTube. Or not from YouTube, from, I mean, probably. I don't know why, I'm just kind of reading off of here. This has been banned from TV since 1996 because of the theme. Southwood is building a bridge, but everyone thinks that Southwood is going to war. Yeah. This episode was very untimely, especially when it aired before a TV movie called The Day After, which featured atomic bomb explosion, and even though it was pretty coincidental, so yeah, it was very interesting. This has stopped airing since 1996 and was never released on video or streaming, though the scene of Mr. Negri's music shop was shown on the What About Love VHS. Except I vaguely remember seeing this week. I don't know how, really. I remember seeing like at least maybe the entire week. I know I saw it on YouTube and like I think it's available on Archive if you want to see it so badly. I don't think it's ever been released at all. I think a small clip shows up in the documentary, but like I don't think it was ever like officially released at all. I would love to see get a release at some point, maybe part of like a little package of episodes, or like maybe as in like entire like movie edit, like just putting like all 5 episodes together. Day 5 also has a very sweet and safe ending, where after It's Such a Good Feeling, Mr. Rogers comes to the front porch and sings Peace and Quiet, which I think the song was also used on a flash game on the PBS Kids website where he helped Daniel sleep, though it might have been taken from another episode. I'm not sure. And there's also a piece of text from the Bible about ending war. Yeah, this is actually really what we need now, since there's a lot of talk about like conflict and war and stuff nowadays, with the whole like Israeli Palestinian conflict and like the whole like Ukraine like Russia thing, whatever, takeover, whatever. I don't know the right words. And like of course like toxicness on YouTube. Like yeah, we need this week now and forever, really. And I would be glad if we could have it. But yeah. So yeah. Work episodes 15 26 to 1530. I think I might remember day one where stamps are being made, and maybe the dairy farm on day 2. I most likely saw day 3 with fixing a sink and digging the ground, and I might remember the grocery store on day 4. I think in the grocery store scene we see a lot of uh, like outdated, like old cereals and like old versions of cereals. So yeah. So yeah. But I definitely remember day 5 where we see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, in the make believe segments, everyone's working. They're doing different kinds of jobs. It's very busy, and I remember watching this on very hot days, especially like now. Well, actually, it's kind of cold now. So yeah, grandparents episodes 1531 to 1535. I may have seen some of these days. I'm not sure which ones. I definitely saw day 5 back in 2018 for like an anniversary thing. Colette is visiting uh, grandpere, and Mr. Reardon is making an opera about grandparents. I think I might also remember the violin players on day 2 and Colette's visit to school on day 3. Day 4 also has a visit to like an aquarium at the Pittsburgh Zoo, which I might remember. I remember that was my favorite part of the zoo. So yeah, I think I also saw it the same day as the Barney episode Who's Who at the zoo. Day 5's opera is very heartwarming, where Daniel's character is looking for his long lost grandfather. I thought that was very interesting. I also remember like a VHS called Musical Stories. It was kind of like the recap videos where they show highlights from a certain week. The video showed the Potato Bugs and Cows opera and this opera, which a clip of this video briefly shows up in the Casper movie, apparently. I'm burping a lot. Food, episodes 15 6, or 36 to 1540. The Queen helps a Food for the World campaign, especially when some food goes missing. I might remember day 2 where we see how tofu was made. I don't think I ever had tofu. I heard it's like not very refreshing. Instantly gets hose hounds PTSD, especially now. I remember there's one character who was like absolutely like vegetarian, like adored like tofu. That show haunts me. Day 4 also had a vegetable soup factory, which I didn't even know something like that was a thing. And next up is episodes 1541 to 1545. No and yes. I don't know why it's not yes and no. Betty Okanak and James Michael Jones are getting married. I might remember day 1 with different kinds of portraits and mirrors, and day 2 with the tricycles. I think I vaguely remember day 3 where Mr. Rogers break dances. Yeah, he sees one of his neighbors doing break dance, showing like moonwalking. But yeah, this one like Michael Jackson was really big. But I remember nothing else of that episode. I might remember it being like in part of the documentary. I remember day 4 where Mr. Rogers shows his wedding pictures and his parents, but I don't remember the "Going to Marry Mom" song being sung. I can't remember that might have been on the PBS Kids website. I'm not sure if I saw it on TV. I might have at my grandparents' house. But yeah, I might remember the wedding on day 5. I'm not sure. That was another older memory that I had. Music episodes 1546 to 1550. Westwood is holding a bass violin festival. Interesting. I vaguely remember day 1 because the behind the scenes stuff again. We see a young boy playing the piano. I definitely remember day 2 with Yo Yo Ma, and I might remember Ella Jenkins' appearance on day 3, and maybe day 4. I definitely saw day 5 on a Sunday. I love when Mr. Rogers visits someone on that day with like a million different like instruments. I didn't even know there were so many. Like his apartment was just decorated with them. Imagine how noisy that would have been for the neighbors. There's a VHS I definitely remember borrowing, highlighting this week called Music and Feelings. I'm not really sure if Feelings really has a big role. Families, episode 1551 to 1555, live fives. X's cousin Mary, who is larger than him for some reason, kind of similar to Lady Aberlin being related to the Tiny King, is visiting. Mary is visiting. I don't remember her too much. I don't know if I saw her in this week. But yeah, day 1 we learn about oranges, which I think I saw the same day as the Teletubbies episode called Orange Picking. Yeah, I love oranges. I also vaguely remember seeing day 2 with a snowy tree painting, reminding me of Bob Ross, and wondering why they never crossed over. But yeah, and Betty and James adopting a baby girl. I think I remember this one of the first times I heard about adoption. So yeah, and I also remember day 3 with the doctor's office. Actually, I think it might have been a book based on the episode. It has very good advice about stranger danger that I never expected to be said at all. I wish that was good advice for the people at Nickelodeon. But yeah. So yeah. I might remember Anna adopting Bob Dog as a cousin on day 4. Like, do we ever see Bob Dog's family? I don't know. It's very weird. Making and creating episodes 1556 to 1560. Lady Elaine dresses the trolley like a car and tries to think of what to put in her museum. I might remember day 1 with a mini golf course, similar to one I went to near my grandparents' house once. And also, I looked it up. A game of mini golf is $1.10 for each hole, but Mr. Rogers and Mr. McFeely were allowed to play for free. Why? Like, yeah, that's probably why we're poor. So yeah, I think I also remember day 5, where Mr. Rogers visits the construction of a playground made of wood, similar to one near my grandparents' house, which I have mentioned several times, had festivals with like different cartoon characters, including the Looney Tunes and the Teletubbies. But I didn't get to meet the Teletubbies. I only saw a picture of Dipsy and Poe. I was very jealous. But yeah, celebrations, episodes 1561 to 1565. King Friday is waiting for a comet to pass by, while Henrietta is waiting for her birthday. I probably saw this entire week. I'm pretty sure I saw some of it on. I'm pretty sure I saw some of it online. Day 2 had Mr. Rogers playing basketball. Day 3 had a memorable guest appearance by Wynton Marsalis, which, yeah, he plays the trumpet. I thought it was a really memorable scene. Also, this week had Prince Tuesday being voiced by a woman for some reason, which I don't think I remember that. And when I like rewatched this a while ago, I was like shocked. Day 4 had a delicious looking cake that said "I celebrate you." Like, yeah, I don't know if this was for like an anniversary or something. Like, it seems like very interesting. They would talk about celebrations like that. Day 5, Henrietta's birthday present is the opera called A Star for Kitty. I just get sleepy thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I saw like days 3 to 5 on pbskids.org. But yeah, playthings. You are a sad, strange little man. Yeah, episodes 1566 to 1570. 70. I think I might remember day 2, where we see the Little Tykes Toy Factory. I used to have a lot of those toys, and Mr. Aber showcasing the elephant puppet to Miss Cow's class, with one instance of Daniel wondering if he's just a puppet, which I know he is, but if you're watching this like without the behind the scenes episodes, it gets really strange, especially when you're younger. Like, yeah, I might remember day 4 with a master key that opens everything, like it's a video game, and different kinds of whistle instruments, and vaguely day 5 with a giant elephant statue. Yeah, dance days 1571 to 1575. I remember day 1 where it was raining at the beginning. We see like the intro, they edited to make it look like it's raining. And maybe day 2 where we see SeaWorld, and I was jealous because I didn't get to go to SeaWorld. And day 3 with tap dancing. I most likely saw the dance step mat in day 4 as well. Lady Elaine is opening up a dance studio in this week. Making Mistakes, episodes 1560 or 1576 to 1580. I most likely saw this entire week, possibly in the same week. Day 1 immediately starts with Mr. Rogers having trouble with his zipper, which prompts another flashback, where from an older episode where he misbuttons his sweater. I was like very mind blown to see that. I think that was the first episode I saw with an older flashback. So yeah, yeah. Audrey Duck is nervous about reading a poem in front of everyone, especially when Mr. Skunk sprays her. Day 3 has Mr. Aber filling in for Mr. Rogers briefly, and the scene, Daniel wonders if he's a mistake. Very important scene. But yeah. And we'll also see how erasers are made. I thought that was pretty odd. I don't like erasers. I don't know why. They're just very weird when you feel it, when like rubbing on a piece of paper when you're trying to erase a pencil. Like, yeah. Alike and different, episodes 1581 to 1585. I gotta get more water. Maybe I'll just freeze it on here again. Maybe I'll just leave the camera on there. Yeah, just try to think of something to do while you're waiting. That's like a song on the show. Miss me, baby. That's a Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme reference, by the way. I could do like an entire video of me watching that movie at some point. So yeah, a caterpillar is unsure if she'll ever become a butterfly. I might remember days 1 and 2, or day 2 where we see how this we see the Spot books, Spot the dog, and then day 3 we see Bob Tro trying on the Bob Dog costume, and day 4 we see Mr. Rogers wearing clown mask, which that freaked me out a little. But yeah, I definitely remember seeing day 5 on the a date. I'm out of breath on the Date the Circus DVD, which again I only remember seeing the first episode on that DVD. I remember that was one of the first episodes I've seen the neighborhood make believe segment show up before Mr. Rogers goes out and visits somewhere. Because I don't think I remember that many episodes having that. Yeah, I think I am gut pauseless. I'm very out of breath, or maybe I won't. Oh. Okay, I think I'm feeling a little better. Nighttime, episodes 1586 to 1590. I remember most of this week, but I don't remember specifically which days, really. Mostly on Sundays. They would air these a lot on Sundays. Day 1 had Mr. Rogers turning off the lights and closing the curtains to make it look like nighttime. I always loved doing that. But never when it was actually nighttime. When it actually was nighttime, I would be afraid of the dark. So yeah, day 2 also shows Mr. Rogers visiting some show in Russia called Good Night, Little Ones. I don't think I ever saw it. I don't think it was ever localized. Day 3, we also see a bathroom in Mr. Rogers' television house. It says you can never go down the drain. Yeah. I also remember reading that one book that was similar to that, that talked about going to the potty. But yeah. I don't remember if my school or daycare maybe had that book, or like maybe my grandparents had it or something. I don't know. Day 4 has that Russian TV show host and her translator visiting, and a mysterious baby creature from outer space visits Make Believe. Day 5 had yo-yoing. I'd honestly rather fold socks. Kindness, or kindness and unkindness. Days 1591 to 1595. I don't even think I'm gonna finish this whole part. I remember the hoe manufacturing, like a garden hoe, like like that scene in the Cat in the Hat movie. Dirty hoe. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it like that. I remember the cavern in day 2, and possibly the jump roping in day 3. So King Friday is thinking of putting Prince Tuesday in a more royal school, but he doesn't want to. I didn't want to either, but too bad, Tuesday. So yeah. Yeah, this episode gives me PTSD. Probably. But not as bad. I remember an episode where someone calls the wrong number. I'm not sure if day 5 was one of them where that happened. Next up is Secrets, episodes 1596 to 1600. Everyone in make believe is keeping secrets and surprises, and Lady Elaine wants to marry Mr. Aber. Yeah, kind of like that one episode where Elmo fell in love with, I think, Gina. So yeah, I don't know if I remember this week. I might remember day 2 where we see different signs and notes, and day 5 maybe where we celebrate Mr. Rogers' birthday. That was very interesting. Fun and Games 1601 to 1605. I think I might remember day 1 where we learn about Caribou as one visits the neighborhood make believe to start special game, and day 3 where we see some baskets, which I think I might have seen this on Easter. Which happy late Easter, by the way. I don't think I did a proper Easter video this year. I mean, I don't think I ever do one at all. I got way too much candy. That's all I have to say. Yeah, and I was prepared for the next day, which of course was April Fool's Day. And I did a video that people probably got the wrong way. But yeah, I vaguely also remember the board game on day 5 or day 4 and the bowling alley on day 5. I still love going bowling. I see those Brunswick animations on the screen, like that fence one, and like stuff where like the fence one where the bowling pin is dressed up like a cowboy, kind of like Woody from Toy Story. 1606 to 1610, Josephine the Short-Necked Giraffe. Princess Zelda, yes, I'm not kidding, is putting on a play rather than an opera that lasts 3 episodes. I remember day 1 where they visit the zoo, possibly the same day as a Teletubbies episode with the Animal Parade, which had giraffes in it, and maybe day 2. I'm not sure if I ever saw the play, but I have listened to a record from years before that tells the same story, but with some different songs. It's a story about a lonely short-necked giraffe, kind of similar to the story in Barney's Musical Scrapbook about the lonely number 1. So yeah, which that story lasted about a minute. This last 3 episodes, I don't know. I don't even think like the record version lasted that long. Honestly, it was a nice story, a good dedication to John Reardon, the opera guy, but it didn't have to be so long, really. When Parents Go to Work, episodes 1611 to 1615, the king and queen are going to work, but Prince Tuesday is not very happy. I'm not really sure what to say about this week. I may remember days 1 through 3. I'm not sure. Days 1 through 3. I can't say the TH sound anymore. Environment. Episodes 1616 to 1620. By the way, happy early Earth Day as I'm reading this. I realize Earth Day is soon. Maybe I'll watch this episode that time. I think I did watch it on Earth Day when I was younger. The dump at someplace else is getting too full. The same someplace else where the school is. I hope this does not end like that one Seven Little Monsters episode where Six and the others hide the trash and it just gets really messy. I might remember day 1. I definitely remember day 3, which had an older flashback once again of Mr. Rogers and Mrs. McFeely looking at items from recycled stuff. Yeah, recycling, that's very important. I think I even might have seen this around the same time that the Barney's Jungle Friends movie aired, which that had a lot of recycling talking about. I think I also remember Mr. Rogers going scuba diving on day 4 and the pretend puppet theater TV thing on day 5, which I think I saw the same day as the Teletubbies episode Shadows, which had shadow puppets. Fathers and music. Why the combination? Episodes 1621 to 1625. King Friday practices his bass violin. I might remember day 3, maybe, with Mr. Rogers vacuuming and his son and grandson appearing, even though I don't remember them being related. But yeah, I might remember the episode with Yo-Yo Ma and his son Nicholas, just like me. So yeah. Mouths and feelings, again, like that's a very interesting combination. Mouths, I don't really think it has that much to do with feelings. I mean, I can tell what you're feeling by the look on your face. I guess something like that. So yeah, episodes 1626 to 1630. Lady Aberlin is looking for a job. Aren't we all? Yeah, the whole AI thing and like the strike and stuff. Like, nah, everyone's like just losing jobs. Uh, like yeah, like mergers and like whatever tax write-offs and stuff. Like layoffs. Like those are just huge problems. I'm honestly surprised there aren't as many jobs in make believe, or like not that many people in make believe have that many jobs. Yeah, everyone else is also learning about feelings. I think I remember the Chef Brockett cookies on day one and the dentist appointment on day four. I remember I didn't like that because I didn't like going to the dentist when I was little. So yeah, yeah. I think like job layoffs and other stuff like that is probably why we have monetization. But like even like monetization, like YouTube partnerships don't work out very well from what I heard. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm poor practically. Growing days 1631 to 1635. I was really hoping the growing song from Barney would be sung. Growing, we do it every day. Or was the other song? Growing big and tall. So Tuesday wants to be big like the humans, but there's a big thing coming, and it turns out to be a magic plant. Like, I guess. I remember seeing day three on Sunday because of a girl reading uh, One Fish, Two Fish. That was a classic book. And also remember it had another flashback. This time not from a much older episode, but it was very interesting because it was still slightly older. Like Mr. Rogers looks slightly younger. It showed Jimmy the cat as a kitten before showing him as a full-grown cat. Like I didn't realize it was the same cat. And my nose is itchy. Yeah, but still. I think I also remember day four, I think on the same day as the Barney episode, Sean and the Beanstalk, which talks a lot about that growing stuff, including the growing song, and day five. Oh, I really want to watch a lot of these episodes right now. Dress Up, episodes 1636 to 1640. And I'm already at the 1 hour point. Should I go higher? I don't know. I think I'll stop at 1:30. 1 hour and 30 minutes. I don't know. I'll just keep going until I just lose energy. Yeah. So everyone make believe is dressing up while uh lost his the king lost his spare crown, which I don't think we ever see him like without his crown. Even like in the first week, the conflict week, we see it under his army hat. I remember the old Three Bears flashback on day one. Like, yeah, which apparently is actually raccoons. I looked it up. Yeah, it was the one that I talked about in the previous part about the bear or the flashback. Yeah, whatever. Mr. Rogers also puts on wigs and sunglasses in day three. I might remember that. I might remember the trolley with a colorful cover on day four and maybe day five. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. Honestly, there's just a lot more episodes than I thought I would talk about. Obviously, because I have seen a lot of these episodes. But yeah, so next time we're gonna talk about the art week. So yeah, see you later.